I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning to all my fellow Americans. Here once again to inform what's happening. Okay, so let's go to the news. Before I go to the news, I just want to, like always, my support for the freedom of a political prisoner who's in prison, even though he's innocent. Let's request his freedom. There's no reason why he should be in prison. And I'm referring, like always, to Roger Stones, a political prisoner who was unjustly kidnapped from his home, even though innocent, for no reason at all. This man is completely innocent. The ones who should be in prison in his place are those of the DNC. The whole DNC should be in prison. They are the criminal syndicate organization, which has turned into the CPUSA, no longer the Democrat Party. So here, once again, to inform the freedom, let's request it. You saw the phone numbers right there. 202-456-1414. This man was put in prison because of his conservative views. That's all. He refused to denounce Trump because that's what the Democrats wanted. Since he didn't want to conform to their plans of destroying the reputation of a great president, he was put in prison. They put false charges on him. The ones that should be in prison are the ones who accused him, and almost the whole Democrat Party. So let's go to the next news. Okay, wait a minute. I'm gonna go to another source here that I wanna. Like I always say, people say that those who go to visit Cuba and think Cuba is a wonderful place, a nice, beautiful socialist system. The communist regime in Cuba, you see there were a whole bunch of statues honoring the memory of Jose Marti. And Jose Marti was an anti-communist. And to prove that, I got a quote from him, from Jose Marti. Listen to what he says. I'm going to read it and I'm going to show it to you. Karl Marx is dead. Since he sided with the weak, he deserved honor. But he who points out the harm does not do well and burns with a generous desire to remedy it, but rather he who teaches a soft remedy for the damage. This is Jose Marti. This is Jose Marti, a man ahead of his time, a genius in his writings. See if I can raise it up a little bit better. There he is. That's the writings. And that's the photo there of Jose Marti, a hero, a martyr, who died in combat for his country, for the freedom and independence of Cuba from Spain. Now there's another hero who's fighting for the freedom from communism of Cuba. And I want to show you it right here. It's right here. Let's see if I can see a photo. Okay. This is Jose Daniel Ferran Garcia. He's right in the bottom. There's a photo of him. Okay, let me put it this way, because unfortunately, it's not going to be able to see it this way. I'm going to show you the photo first of him. And there's information there that you can get in contact with him if you want to donate. And I advise and request, respectfully request, that you donate to his cause. This man is doing the job. This man is a true hero, and he's doing the job of this, what we call here the Salvation Army. He's helping his people. He's helping to feed those who are in need and in crisis, and going through the misery, the extreme poverty and misery that the communists are imposing on his people. There's more information on where you can connect. There you go on Twitter, his email. There's more information up here. Let me see if I can get down to the information. Okay, wait a minute. No, okay. Let me just go back, because I think I have to go back first. Okay, there you go. I just had to go back. Okay, there's more. There's 5 sources of information that you can go to. There's the names right here to your. It would be on your right hand. There you go. That's the 5 list of information. Cuba Decide. I'm seeing here on reverse. Ana Belkis, Rosa Maria Paya, and Cuban. I can't read it because it's in reverse. But there you go. That's a source of information. You can go later on to my blog, Cuba Noticias Disidentes, and there you're going to see that it's going to be right there in the video I'm going to post later on, which is this video, and you can find it the source of information to get in contact with them and donate whatever you can. It doesn't have to be much, $2, $3. You know, it adds up to a lot when there's a lot of people donating. Plus, there's other people like me who donate $20, or those who can do more. Well, you know, God bless you for it. But it's going to be for a good cause, a good moral cause, and it's to help the people in Cuba. Like I say, he's doing the job of what would be over here, the Salvation Army, with the rest of those members of UNPACO. They call UNPACO. And I have in this list, there's a source there who I got the information of the person to send the donation. So if you need to get in contact with me, my number is 787-245-4118. And there I can give you the information that I'm authorized to give to anybody who wants. You don't have to necessarily contact me because I just gave you the source of information. But to go to send it directly, I got the information of the person who wants to keep it privacy. So if anybody want to get in contact with me directly, I can give you the source to send directly to them. It's not going to be to me, and it's not be to my name. It's going to be to the source I'm going to give you if you decide you want to donate. But if not, like I say, the purchase is on the list. So you can go here and find out for yourself. But if you want to go quicker, you can contact me if you want. If not, like I say, you can go to this source and find out. The person is in, I think, on Twitter and Facebook. So I don't know if that's the source. Yeah, right. I think it is on Facebook. But anyway, you can get, donate. Like I say, donate. Because these people are going through a hellish situation. I mean, it's a nightmare, freaking nightmare. Okay, let's go to the news. This is in Afghanistan. This is from the so-called religion of peace. Muslims, this is in Afghanistan, remember, Muslims shoot and kill 6 workers at U.S.-run Bagram airfield. You know, there's no way negotiating these people. The only way you got to do is bomb them out of extinction. That's the only way. There's no way you can negotiate with them. These people will never learn. The only way is just annihilating them. That's all. No pity. Find them wherever they're at and get rid of them. Boy, is there a lot happening. There is a lot. Midler to Trump, you have 30,000 corpses on your hands. It's not the Chinese who used created the coronavirus as a mean of mass destruction, but it's Trump. Trump is the one who created coronavirus, according to Bette Midler. She's getting old and she's getting dumber by the day. Let me go. I want to get to the videos. I'm just trying to read here. Agree 100%. Trump instructs agencies to redirect World Health Organization funds to other groups. I support you 100%, Trump. The border wall. We could use that there, and paying the national debt. Defund them and use that for that reason. I have something here on Bob Rainier, the one they used to call Meathead, on All in the Family, but his argument or whatever he has to say to me is useless. It's like toilet paper. But I put it on just to, to be a little bit balanced. I put these evil entities on my blog. Really don't care much what they got to say. And here a Democrat gets caught blatantly lying and blaming Trump for coronavirus death, like they all do. They all do. And it's no longer the Democrat Party, it's now the CPUSA. The official Communist Party was taken over by the communists. So, they use it in all forms, just like the communists do. They lie, they place fake information just to hurt Donald Trump, even though he's trying to do his best and good for the country. To them, there's no reason and reasoning with them. Rosie O'Donnell. Rosie calls Trump a liar, a madman, and insane. I wrote down in the title on the top, besides what she wrote, I put down that she's referring to herself. Okay, now we're getting to the area of the refuse to accept facts. Okay, I'm in the area of the videos. Pelosi again, but I don't want to. She has nothing to contribute. Okay, let's see what Trump said in an interview. I think I've heard all his interviews. But I just love the way he just wipes the floor with these Democrats. Okay, but there's various videos here. Let me see if I could get one of them. I hope it doesn't last too long. If it lasts too long, okay, this one's okay.
Leaders and from the media. The media's been responsible and thoughtful dialogue from their elected leaders and from the media. The media's been some very honest, but some very dishonest. You know that. I mean, I even read a story where Mark Meadows is just a tough guy. He was crying He was crying. There was Maggie Haberman. You know, she won a Pulitzer Prize for her coverage of Russia, but she was wrong on Russia. So was everyone else. They should all give back their Pulitzer Prizes. In fact, it turned out that the crime was committed by the other side. The crime was not committed by this side. It was committed by the other side, a bunch of bad people. You saw the reports coming out over the last 2 weeks. They got caught. So Maggie Haberman gets a Pulitzer Prize. She's a third-rate reporter, New York Times. And we put her name up here last week. You saw that. People thought it was a commercial. It wasn't a commercial. It's like a commercial, but it wasn't a commercial. It was just clips. And because we exposed her as being a bad reporter, what happened is she came out and said, Mark Meadows was crying. And they made it sound, I said, Mark, and it's okay if he did. I wouldn't, look. But I think he was crying probably really for the wrong reason. They had it down. But he's not a crier. And if he was, I don't cry. I could tell you people that you know that are very famous, they cry. And that's okay too. But it was a nasty story in so many ways. It was fake news. And she only did it because we exposed her for being a terrible, dishonest reporter. She is. I've known her for a long while. I haven't spoken to her in a long time. I made the mistake. I take a picture with her at the desk a long time ago. Every time she does a story, if I say, I haven't spoken to her in many months, maybe years. I don't speak to her. She's fake. A lot of people are fake. A lot of people. We get a lot of fake people. But what happens is she writes a story as retribution, puts it in the New York Times, and the New York Times is a very dishonest newspaper. It's my opinion. It's not an opinion. It's actually, from my standpoint, the very hard thing to figure, though, most people wouldn't know that, but I know because I know the facts. And they make up, I said it today, they make up words. Sources say, most often.
Okay, finish. Let's go to the next one. There's a couple of them there. So like I always advise, just in case I run out of signal, they block me for some stupid reason, like YouTubers do now for political reasons. They want to silence my conservative views. Just go to my blog, which is go by my name, Eduardo E. Rodriguez, or Eduardo Rodriguez. I pledge allegiance to the flag, and you'll find me there. You can also go to my Facebook, my Twitter, my LinkedIn. I post it everywhere. So no matter how much the communists are trying to ban me or block me, it's not working. So let's go to the next one. Nice try anyway. Okay, let's see what Bill Maher, according to what I'm seeing, Bill Maher is now siding with Trump in views. I think so. I don't know. Because he's very controversial. One moment he's siding with us, and then he suddenly starts bashing Donald Trump for no good reason.
And finally, new rule. Now that we're starting to see some hope in all this, don't hope shame me. The problem with nonstop gloom and doom is it gives Trump the chance to play the optimist. And optimists tend to win American elections. FDR said the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. As full of shit as he is, I can see Trump riding that into a second term. And then there will be no hope left for you to shame. So look, if this insanity happens again, news sources have to rein it in. Everyone knows Corona is no walk in the park, because you literally can't walk in the park. But at some point, the daily drumbeat of depression and terror veers into panic porn. Enough with the life will never be the same headlines. And stop showing us this. Everything looks scary when you magnify it 1,000 times. Here's a pubic hair. Boom! Last month, the Washington Post ran the headline, "It feels like a war zone," with this picture. This is not a war zone. This is a man with a box of eggs. And I've never seen a war zone with this much bacon. Or how about this one? Horrifying simulation reveals the dangers of jogging during the coronavirus pandemic. Look, this virus is easy to catch, but if you can't avoid it jogging, you can't outrun much. 2 weeks ago, Inside Edition said 76,000 in the world had died, so some are making comparisons to the apocalypse. The apocalypse? Really? Because most of us are sitting at home smoking delivery weed and binge watching a show about a gay zookeeper. Unless you're a frontline healthcare worker for whom the phrase above and beyond the call of duty doesn't even begin to cover it. This is not the apocalypse. And I know, you expect Inside Edition to be over the top. But the New York Times, they used the same word last week. Braced for apocalyptic surge, New York avoids worst so far. And this was an article about how much better the city was doing than expected. Projections had them needing 58,000 hospital beds, and it turned out they needed a quarter of that. Still bad, but you don't have to put hot sauce on a jalapeno. Geez, you sound like Lindsey Graham talking about ISIS when Obama was president.
This president needs to rise to the occasion before we all get killed back here at home.
Another recent Times headline was, "It's terrifying. Millions more out of work." What the fuck is "it's terrifying" doing in a headline? Granted, it's a quote, but who are they quoting? Trump? Fauci? Stephen King? No, they're quoting an event planner in North Hollywood. No offense to the event planners of the world. It's amazing what you people could do with pine cones and silver spray paint. But why are you in my headline? How about this? Just tell me millions are out of work without the flashlight under the chin, and I'll decide how I feel about it. There was never headlines like this before. There was no "it's terrifying, planes hit World Trade Center." There was no "it's sad, Titanic sinks after hitting iceberg," or "first atomic bomb dropped, ouch." The media also seems obsessed with finding young people who've died of COVID-19. The Washington Post says there's 759 under 50 years old. Horrible, of course. Then I looked up how many under 50 died of the flu last year. Almost 3,000. So all this misery from distancing did some good. Can I be happy about that? Death is terrible, of course, no matter how it comes. I'm against it, and I don't care who knows it. But giving a proper perspective isn't a cover-up of the truth. It is the truth. Sudden dramatic deaths like plane crashes, shark attacks, tornadoes, mass shootings, terrorism, awful as they are, kill far less than seasonal flu or even hospital-acquired infections may very well kill more than coronavirus. 99,000 of them last year. 50,000 die of nephritis every year. I don't even know what that is. 22 million Americans have filed for unemployment, and many will lose their health insurance. Studies show lacking health insurance kills people. But it doesn't lead to pictures like this, and it doesn't happen all at once. We need the news to calm down and treat us like adults. Trump calls you fake news. Don't make him be right.
Well, you heard it from his mouth, Bill Maher. He slapped the CNN, and then at the same time, he himself, in some ways, indirectly, Donald Trump. So we don't know who he stands with. With the CPUSA, which still calls themselves the Democrat Party, or with the conservative view, which is a patriot movement, which loves the country and wants to conserve its values and its constitution and the security for all against terror, so what he was mentioning, terrorism. So sometimes I can't understand him. His mind is his own. It's okay. You're free to talk all the crap you want, even though part of it was true. But then, some ways, I don't agree with him. I don't agree with this guy. I don't think any of much of us agree with him either. In some ways, we do, because he also slammed. Thank God, he's not. Well, maybe he's trying to make people think he's impartial. Which sometimes I doubt he's really not. Okay, let's see this on Bill Maher. I hope we can get to Dr. Stevens, because Dr. Stevens or Mark Dice, because they're very good. But this lasts too long. No. This one lasts too long. But damn, I'm so tempted to putting it. Let me put it, because it's just so tempting. I have to do it.
Former United States Attorney Joe DiGenova was on the radio earlier this week, and he dropped some bombshells when discussing the ongoing work related to the crimes committed by Obama's deep state actors. Joe DiGenova said, Bill Barr announced that there are going to be indictments in deep state's crossfire Hurricane Sham. Vince Coglianese and Mary Walter interviewed Joe DiGenova, legal analyst and former the United States Attorney to the District of Columbia. The entire interview is well worth your time. It looks like indictments are finally coming. Mary Walter. Joining us now, Joe DiGenova, legal analyst, former the United States Attorney to the District of Columbia. Joe. Good morning. Joe DiGenova. Morning. Mary Walter. All right. So Joe, on Fridays, Senators Chuck Grassley and Ron Johnson disclosed 4 redacted footnotes from the IAG report, 4 of them. So there's a lot to get to you. Which one was the most information, the quote-unquote bombshell of what they released on Friday? Joe DiGenova. Well, I think their information was important because it demonstrated that there is now conclusive evidence, if anybody really needed that, the FBI was engaged in not only selling this information but knowingly selling this information to the Pfizer courts. Those 4 footnotes are very important. And that's why they were kept classified. And the reason is, they were classified because they implicate foreign governments, probably the United Kingdom more than anyone. And also very sensitive Russian intelligence sources that the CIA is aware of. But more important than the footnotes is, excuse me for jumping ahead here, but the headline today is Bill Barr announced that there are going to be indictments. In this case, when he went on the Laura Ingraham show the other night and gave an amazing interview for an Attorney General of the United States. He said, yeah, sure, John Durham could write a report, but that's not what he's doing. He's getting ready to bring indictments if he has the evidence, quote, unquote, but the if he has the evidence is like a passé footnote. What the Attorney General was saying after saying that Crossfire Hurricane was one of the greatest tragic travesties in American history, and that he's deeply disturbed about what the evidence that he has seen. I think it's pretty clear that John Brennan, if he doesn't have a lawyer now, then he better get one, because the indictments are coming, as we have discussed on this program for a long time. This was never about John Doerr. I'm writing a report. He can do that if he wants to. But the most important thing is to bring indictments, and the Attorney General just said to us, that's exactly what he's doing. So for folks who missed it, the footnotes are great, but they're nothing compared to what Bill Barr said about John Durham. Vince Coglianese. I'd like to wind back to asking more about the footnotes in a second, but since you brought up Bill Barr, I want to play a piece of audio for you, and this is as you mentioned, an intensity and a severity that I have not heard Bill Barr as yet, and Bill Barr is a plain-spoken guy, but this particular cut 15 shows that he unequivocally has assessed, along with John Durham, that there was no mistake here when it came to going after President Trump. Listen to this. Bill Barr. I think what happened to him was one of the greatest travesties in American history without any basis. They started this investigation of his campaign. And even more concerning, actually, is what happened after the campaign, the whole pattern of events while he was president. So I sabotaged the presidency. And I think that, or at least had the effect of sabotage on the presidency. Vince Coglianese. In other words, the greatest travesties in American history is opening this without basis this investigation while he was a candidate, and then what's even worse, sabotaging the presidency. Joe DiGenova. Yes, this has been the obvious truth to anyone who would assess the available public evidence from day one. What Bill Barr said, and make no mistake about it, he is getting regular briefings from John Durham, who we now know is working out of a federal grand jury in D.C. that he has issued a large number of subpoenas, that he has interviewed CIA intel-off researchers, that he has interviewed people from the Director of National Intelligence, who were involved in generating the intelligence assessment at the end of the Obama administration, which is a false document created by John Brennan. This is pretty stunning stuff coming from an attorney general. I personally am pleased to hear it because it was very important for the American public to begin to get their arms wrapped around the fact that there's going to be some pretty ugly stuff happening against former United States government officials who violated federal law. And it's pretty clear that what John Durham is pursuing is a massive conspiracy to deny the civil rights of American citizens and to corrupt the intelligence apparatus of the United States government through fraud and dissembling. That's where he's headed. Mary Walter. Joe, you say he's not going to be doing a report, but he's, getting lawyers together to talk about a DC grand jury. But we've heard in the past that the reason that they didn't go after some people, the reason they didn't immediately, press charges, and they've said it was because they couldn't get an indictment. Because in DC, in the district, it's very hard to get an indictment against a Democrat politician. So how is he going to do that? Are we just not? If you're talking about Democrat politicians' names that people recognize in the district, isn't it going to be close to impossible to get any kind of indictment? Joe DiGenova. No, I don't think so. I think in the cases where there have been no indictments sought or attempted, there's only one case where we know that there might have been a refusal by grand jury. And that's in the Andrew McCabe case. And we don't even know if that's true. We do know that you can get an indictment, and I don't have any doubt that John Durham is going to be able to get indictments. The bigger issue would be whether or not he can get a conviction. I'm not worried about that. If this is not about convicting people, it's about charging them knowing you have guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, and then letting a jury make up its mind. What's important here is disclosure, transparency, exposure, making the indictments, having them be fully backed up by evidence. And I have no doubt whatsoever that those indictments are coming now. Bill Barr would have never given that interview, would have never said what he said about the severity of the conduct of Brennan, Clapper, Comey, and McCabe, and even White House officials and senior intelligence officials. I think this is and who knows when it's going to happen. I mean, they say it could be the late summer. That's pretty close to an election, but I don't think it's going to stop them. They're not going to hold up indictments because of an election. Vince Coglianese, do you have a suspicion about the nature of the charges that would be filed against a guy like John Brennan? Joe DiGenova. Yes, conspiracy to deny the civil rights of American citizens through the providing of false information to the United States intelligence and law enforcement sources for the purpose of instigating an improperly based investigation in the United States. I have no doubt that John Brennan conspired with officials overseas who were either witting or unwitting of what he was doing. For example, there is no doubt that the FBI, in conjunction with former assets of the CIA, planted purposely false information with us persons overseas in order to get that information to come back into the United States. Pretend that it was real intelligence, and then use that information to get FISA warrants. The FISA warrants that were obtained against Carter Page are part of the conspiracy because they were not founded on legitimate information. And we now know from the footnotes right in the Grassley-Johnson letter that the FBI and the CIA purposely ignored exculpatory information against all of the targets in those warrants and allowed the warrants to go forward. The submission of those applications for FISA warrants under those circumstances is A. crime, and B. it is what is called an overt act in a large criminal conspiracy. Okay, hold tight. Vince Coakley and AC. Joe, we want to ask you more about this in just a second. We have a lot to ask, and I know you've got a lot to say. We are here, Mary Walter, with Joe DeGenova. We're discussing the report that was put out by Senators Chuck Grassley and Ron Johnson. These disclosures they disclosed for redacted footnotes in the big report.
Okay, look, I'm
And
gonna leave it
also
right
discussing
there.
just joining us about the Attorney General William Barr going on some of the talk shows.
It's interesting and informative. If you want to hear more, go to my blog. You can hear the whole thing. It lasts 15 and something seconds. But the reason why I'm turning it off because I want to show more some other videos that are more entertaining and informative. Because you see the person talking and explaining. Here you just hear the words, which is okay. But if you want to hear the rest of it, just go to my blog. This I want you to hear, but this one is very interesting, and I think it's short. Not only short, she's this lady. She's from the Blaze. She's pretty humorous.
With a riveting story about, well, you know, the thing.
Kinds of things that have to be done. You know, there's during World War.
She's like Mike, a little bit like Mike Dice.
Came up with a thing that was totally different than the as Cody called the World War II. He had the War Production Board.
If Sanjay Gupta's face doesn't say what we are all thinking, I don't know what does. He's like, holy crap, this is the best the Democrats have? Well, shit. Joe cannot string a single solitary sentence together. Even while looking at his notes, which you're not supposed to do, by the way, he still can't get it right. But that wasn't the only time this week that Joe Biden didn't know where he was or who he was talking to or if he had just pooped his pants. Here's another story with Joe Biden. I tell you what it was about, but I have no idea.
We gotta. It's just, but you gotta. I mean, we gotta reassure. Look, here, my message to everybody I can talk to.
I didn't quite catch that. Can we see that one more time?
Have you ever had a dreams that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
Oh, see? Now that, much more succinct. You know, all the Bernie bros at this particular moment are like, our guy had a freaking heart attack only months ago, and he still was 10 times better than this. He at least knew where he was at any given point in time. He could at least handle the task of, like, formulating basic sentences. Look, I know the guy, really corrupt, really creepy, like sniffing every woman's hair and rubbing up on young girls. But really, does anyone love this man enough to send him home? You got his wife sitting there encouraging elder abuse with every single interview that she goes on where she acts as his caretaker.
Yes, honey, yes. If you finish this sentence, you will get ice cream for dinner tonight.
But I don't know. You would think that the crack addict's son, who made millions off of his daddy's career, I don't know, might feel the need to repay his own father by, like, making sure that he gets off the public stage and is able to live out his golden years in a dignified manner without being humiliated on national television every day. Ugh, crack addicts. So unreliable. Look, all I know, if this man makes it to the debates, and that is a big if, it is not going to be pretty for him. So if anyone loves Joe Biden enough, send him home already. What's up, everybody? Don't forget to follow and like my page. You can find me all over social media at Sarah Gonzalez TX. And don't forget to subscribe to my new YouTube channel, Sarah Gonzalez Unfiltered. Go there now. Go, go, go.
She's great. She's great. She's humorous. She's another Mike Dice. Now I got two. Well, there's three of them are my favorite. Mike Dice, I would say number one, and then her and Dr. Steven. They're all three of them all good. I can't say one of them is my favorite because all three of them are great. So and Next News Network is also a great source of news. You know, there's just many of them that are great. I really can't. But Mike Dice, he's just out of it. I mean, he's just great. I mean, the guy is just beyond humorous. Let me see if I can get another good one here. Let me see how long. I can't wait to see her in handcuffs. Finally, Hillary Clinton email server get uncovered. Federal judge order. Let me see if it doesn't last too long. Oh, okay.
All right, so 2 years. The federal judge
Well,
and ordering Hillary.
like I said, like I read here, federal judge orders. For her emails and other things to get uncovered and read. I hope I can't wait to see the day she's in handcuffs, walking out of a court in handcuffs. Her and many others. Obama for treason, her for treason. All of them, almost all of them. John Kerry, wow, Nadler, Adams, Maxine Waters, almost all of them. Almost the whole DNC, which used to be called the Democrat Party, is now the CPUSA, the official Communist Party of America. Let me see if I can get to another one here. There's a bunch of them. I mean, there's a bunch of them. I even got one on Maxine Waters. I really don't want to hear from her, but I wish I could get to. What happened is I don't got nothing here that says anything that says Dr. Stevens on the bottom. I just have to figure out. See if okay. One of these got to be from Dr. Stevens, because I know I got one from him. Let me see here. Okay, Next News Network. This is quite short.
Back in the news for shutting down a reporter with a brutal reality check. What do you see this? Before I get into it, if you're new here, allow me to welcome you and invite you to subscribe by tapping that red button down below. Just make sure you hit that notification bell. This story from Courtney O'Brien at Town Hall reports that CBS News reporter Paula Reed irked President Trump at one of his coronavirus task force briefings last week with her snarky line of questioning. We covered it quite a bit. Quote, why are there no consequences for China for the misinformation, she asked at one press conference. How do you know there are no consequences? The president responded, I'll tell you, she suggested. She said, Trump responded, I wouldn't tell you. She also suggested that the Trump administration did zilch in the time from when they banned travel to and from China to when the outbreak really started to become an issue in the United States, and that's when the president called her fake. But Reid used the same snarky strategy with the White House counselor Kellyanne Conway this week. Her question regarding how the president was planning to reopen the country was an all right one, and it could have been salvaged, but framing is everything. And to paraphrase Reid, she asked Conway why the group of CEOs Trump chose for the council that would help get the country back to work are very wealthy white men. Well, watch the response.
Kellyanne, can you clarify the president's council on reopening the country? How is that going to work? The president listed off a long list of names yesterday, but how will they work? How will they meet? How will they make recommendations to the president? And is there any thought to diversifying that council beyond what was predominantly a group of very wealthy white men, not exactly those who were immigrants?
The president has calls on his schedule. I don't know if you checked his schedule yesterday, but he has 4 calls with those sectors. Even today, banking, healthcare, technology, sports, quite a number of them. So he's starting to announce them last night and started just today. I think that list is probably less exhaustive than it is illustrative, and there will be other people raising their hand and saying, how can I help? We don't pick who the heads of the sports commission leagues and CEOs of companies are who want to help.
You could pick small businesses, they could pick other people bringing voices.
Paula, I don't know what's happened to you. Respectfully, I don't know why you've changed and you're in the briefing room screaming at Anthony Fauci and the President of the United States. I frankly think it's unbecoming. But that aside, I'll answer the question about how they're going to help America, which is why I'm here. I think you're here for a different reason, it seems, these days. I'm here, and the council has stepped up because they want to help Americans. 17 million of whom have claimed unemployment, many more who are claiming unemployment insurance, I believe. You've got 3 million, about a third of renters who didn't pay their rent last month because they couldn't. You've got people whose financial circumstances change like that, and we're trying to help them.
Trying to help. That's all. That's all this comes down to. Okay? But I'm glad that Conway jabbed her like she did. I don't know what happened to you. I don't know what happened to you, she said. Conway gave Reed a look and an eye roll, but she answered her question explaining that Trump will be working closely with leaders in banking, technology, healthcare, and sports. She added the president doesn't choose who leads sports leagues and CEOs of companies who want to help. Conway said she was there to inform the American people about how the administration is helping them get back on their feet. She told Reed it seemed like she was there for a different reason these days. Yeah. To throw gotcha questions at the president, and it's not helping. Comment below. We'll see you at the next report for the Next News Network. I'm Gary Rich.
Go to the next one.
I hope you enjoyed that last report. You know, before this crisis,
Here's another great source.
Noble
Next
Gold have
News
been
Network.
helping investors to educate themselves.
Okay, I'm trying to find if I see anything by Dr. Stevens. I got here news on North Korea. I can't find Dr. Stevens here. Let me see. Okay, Next News Network. Let's see here, this one. Oh, wait a minute, this one, that's a little bit too long. I got a lot of them on Next News Network. Next News Network is just a great source.
Today, Jay Inslee said that your tweets encouraging separation. Jay Inslee said your tweets encouraging liberation in Michigan, Minnesota, Virginia were fomenting rebellion. Wondering how that squares with the sober and methodical guidance that you issued yesterday.
Well, I think we do have a sobering guidance, but I think some things are too tough. And if you look at some of the states you just mentioned, it's too tough, not only relative to this, but what they've done in Virginia with respect to the Second Amendment is just a horrible thing. They did a horrible thing, the governor. And he's a governor under a cloud to start off with. So when you see what he said about the Second Amendment, when you see what other states have done, no, I think I feel very comfortable. Go ahead.
Just to be clear, when you talk about these states, Michigan, Minnesota, Virginia, do you think that they should lift their stay-at-home orders, or can you talk sort of?
No, but I think elements of what they've done are too much. I mean, it's just too much. You know the elements because I've already said. But certainly your Second Amendment and Second Amendment having to do with the state of Virginia, what they've done in Virginia is just incredible. Okay, please.
Sir, are you concerned, though, that people coming out in protest are going to spread COVID to other people? They're congregating in ways that health experts have said they should not.
Now, these are people expressing their views. I see where they are, and I see the way they're working. They seem to be very responsible people to me. But it's, they've been treated a little bit rough.
Okay, go to the next. I think this one lasts quite a bit, but I'll put this one, if it does, you know, this is going to be the last one.
I got some really good news. The president. Tar, it is now going mega viral. It's got like 1.7 million views already. Absolutely wild. So we're making an impact. You're we're making an impact. When you share these videos, when you send them out an email, when you send them out across a text message thread, you are having a massive impact. So continue to impact the global narrative, my friends. The power's in your hands. Use it. Share this now.
You possess the power to impact the global narrative. Please share this report. And to get more videos like this, become the Next News subscriber by clicking the link below. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.
Wow, for some reason it froze here. I don't know why. Oh, wait a minute, it just didn't last too long. Yeah, it was supposed to last long. Got no idea what happened here.
Okay, I got some really good
Okay,
news.
well, let's, okay, this will be it for today. I don't know what happened here with this one. I had the person talking. I went downstairs to the restroom for a minute, and for a couple of minutes, and taking care of something that was cooking. And I didn't hear any audio. I said, wait a minute, something's happening out here. And it just froze. Well, anyway, this will be it for today. God bless you all. Like I always say, Donald Trump, you're the best. God bless you. I always say, God bless my country eternally. God bless you and your family, including Mike Pence. God bless you, Mike Pence, and your family. And I always pray for Israel too. As I always say, I stand with God in Israel eternally. And plus, I always pray for the freedom of Cuba and of UNPACO and the leader of UNPACO and all the members of UNPACO and the ladies in white. The leader of UNPACO, who's Jose Daniel Ferrer Garcia, and his family who's in exile, and all the Cubans that are in exile. I wish them the best. I hope that their island is free from this nightmare. Just like I hope soon, from what I'm seeing and from what I'm monitoring, about Venezuela, there's hope that soon Venezuela will be free. So God bless you all, and see you next time. Bye-bye.